the lack of link that we seem to see at the moment between commodities and emerging market FX. These two are typically fairly well linked, so what's going on here?
Yeah, look, this chart's really annoying me because I can't explain it. Basically, emerging market currencies are considerably underperforming the rebound in commodities. We talked about this theme a couple of months ago. It's one of my arguments why at some point I think Latin America might provide an interesting investment again, because that's one of the most purest kind of emerging market commodity plays out there. You can see this long-term chart, and like it's going back over the last decade, generally the JP Morgan Emerging Market Currency Index and the Bloomberg Commodity Index trade roughly in line, and that's because they both do well when the dollar is weakening and when yields are low, and they both do badly when yields are rising and the yield rises. So they're kind of driven by some of the same factors, the same financial conditions. Now, since last year, we've seen this incredible infrastructure push. We've seen this incredible amount of stimulus that's more in the developed world. And so it made sense that commodities got a bit of an extra shift and they led the way. But ultimately, you would have thought that some of that money would filter into emerging markets, both the stimulus money going directly into emerging market investments and the secondary effect that as commodities rise, that boosts many emerging market investments. But of course, we've not seen that case. Now, some of it's part of how the distribution of emerging markets are. There's bigger weightings now for non-commodities emerging markets than there were like a few years ago. But still, I think the ultimate conclusion is that emerging markets will play some sort of catch-up, not close the gap entirely. However, because my info on this is not very informed, I've asked my global team to do some work, and I'll maybe have something smarter to say next week.
Well, that sounded smart enough, but yeah, I wonder the change in emphasis from emerging markets to developed market infrastructure spending. You've referenced that. That sounds like something that's interesting. Also, supply chain disruption around those commodities. I wonder what the link is there then into emerging markets. But we will look for more on that next week. For the moment, though, Mark, let's go to Bloomberg Business.